Hello and welcome to another episode of the Roasted and Barreled Review. You know, spring is here, and what really gets me in the mood what really reminds me of spring and why I chose this picture is horse racing. And it would also, not just because of this book, be a great instance for some coffee and whiskey. Just load it up in your tumbler, whether it be I use a Yeti or whatever have you, and just walk on in. A great way to start the day, give you a little buzz, give you a little pep, and let it go. So when I was choosing this location, I wanted something colorful. I thought the bourbon would work nice. I was really hoping for a better day as I went to Keeneland. It was kind of rainy, and so I got this one good shot near these jockey statues, and pretty much the whole day is ruined. But if you should go to Keeneland in Lexington, Kentucky, it is a fantastic place to be out in the sun, see some horses, and have a good time. I cannot express this enough. I would go there every fall and every spring from probably age 6 up to, 6 to 16. And it was a wonderful time. Dress up, get you some coffee and whiskey, and go up there. So today we're reviewing Pinhook Bourbon and Carbello Coffee. Pinhook's a new bourbon, and before I go into the review, I wanted to go talk about what you should look for in new whiskeys. And I'm wanting to do this because I'm seeing a lot of new whiskeys come out, and I fear that based on what I'm seeing, there's a lot of names that I've not heard of that I feel like I should have heard of based on like the price that they're asking. It's just a bit too high, and I feel like it could turn some people away. When I'm talking about these brands and names, I'm talking about like you'll see like Kentucky Owl or Old Carter, or there's this other one. There's this futuristic looking one that like price is like $200, $250. Stuff that Pappy used to retail for, that this is coming up. So when you're exploring whiskey, $20 to $30 is the sweet spot. Like, if you want to try out something new, that's where you gotta look. And like, this is where you're looking for something that is any size bottle. A $20 to $30 hit, if you don't like it, is not going to cause you that much regret, as opposed to something that is $60. Like, if you bought a $60 bottle of a fifth and you didn't like it because you explored something new, you're going to be filled with regret. The first thing to look for is social media presence. You might not think of it when you're going shopping, but if you're really into whiskey, you really want to go look at social media and see what people are saying, see what's being advertised or what's being promoted, to get a good idea of whether you might want to try this or not. Another thing that you want to do as you're exploring whiskey is, if possible, go to a bar and spend what you got to spend before you go and buy a bottle. Like, it's better to spend too much for a shot than too much for a bottle. You're not looking for anything dirt cheap, but just reasonable. There's too many brands that are commanding prices that just seems ridiculous. Brands and names that you haven't heard of that want $180+ It just doesn't seem that great. But there are some new ones that are coming out that are very reasonable and very good. Speaking of new whiskeys, we got Pinhook 5-year, their vertical Yes, their vertical series. Straight bourbon whiskey. And we have Carbello Coffee, their Trace Fincas signature blend. First for the whiskey. This is probably the best marketed whiskey on the market, but I gotta say the juice is just not up to snuff. It's very hot and corny. Had this pandemic not happened and I'd been making decisions over there, this whiskey may have been a huge Instagram success brought on by presence on collegiate tailgates. I could totally get some sorority girls to bring this around and take some good pictures and boost up this would be like the next Fireball. Now there are many bourbon lines with this company, so I may review them again, but again, like just the hit that it gives you, and I get it's a plus 100 proof whiskey, but man is it hot, and I do not like the taste of corn in my whiskey the way this has happened. I don't think I really have too much other to say about this other than I really do like their marketing and their color scheme of their bottles. They're distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and they are aged at a wonderful distillery, Castle and Key, and this is actually where I shot some of the pictures. But anyways, this whiskey gets a deny. I do not endorse it. Now for the coffee, the Trace Fincas blend out of Newport, Kentucky. This is very good. Opening the bag smells like coffee, lumber, chocolate, and cherries. Upon the grind, I'm getting a chocolate and hot sauce smell. Notice drink smell upon the brew. You get... it is definitely not as detectable as storing this stuff in my car. Just bringing it, I had to drive to basically Cincinnati from Louisville to go get this stuff, and everywhere I put it, I could tell that I had it. But upon the brew, it just did not pick up. It's got a very mellow taste that I really enjoyed, kind of a slight hint of steak soup. I love it. I really like this flavor. It's not over too powering. It's not too watering. I'm giving this a buy rating. Now, when you mix these two together, this pair works. It's like a good dance couple. I had a feeling this whiskey would be great for mixing, and so I'm going to try it with some other stuff later, maybe make some old fashions and stuff like that. That'll make it perfect. Or some bourbon cream. I imagine the coffee definitely goes good with bourbon cream. It's just very good. It is like the coffee, not too overpowering, but you're definitely getting a hint of the whiskey that tones down some of the coffee will tone down some of the hotness and definitely overshadows the corniness, which makes this a really good pair. I gotta say, for this pairing, buy. Still wish the whiskey was a little cheaper, but overall, mixing Pinhook Bourbon with Carbello Coffee is a hit. Buy it. Thanks, and that's all I have for you for this episode.